The galaxy was vast, full of stars, planets, and civilizations. Many races had spread across hundreds of systems. They had built empires, fleets, and councils to manage their growing power. Maps were carefully drawn, routes carefully measured, and territories well known. But there was one place no one fully understood, a region at the very edge of the galactic charts. It was marked as human space. Every explorer, every captain, and every scientist who had studied it knew the same thing. The galactic maps stopped there. Beyond that boundary there was silence. No signals, no ships, no traces of life, and no one dared to cross it for fear of the unknown. In the Council of Galactic Knowledge, a heated discussion took place. Alien representatives sat in a circle, voices raised in concern and curiosity. "They say humans are primitive," said the tall, gray-skinned envoy of the Zalari. "Their weapons are basic, their fleets are small. Why should we even care about what lies beyond?" "They are weak, yes," replied a blue-scaled diplomat from Terran Prime. "But the maps, they stop for a reason. Perhaps it is dangerous, perhaps even nature itself refuses entry. We should not risk it." A smaller figure from the planet Ivaris shook her head. "We fear too much," she said softly. "Every star we see is a chance to learn. Why do we refuse to even look? Are we so arrogant that we think nothing could surpass us?" The room fell silent. Her words were true. Curiosity burned in the hearts of many, but fear ruled over caution. Even those who wanted to explore had to admit, human space was a mystery none could solve. Yet curiosity cannot be contained forever. A small delegation of scientists and scouts quietly gathered, planning a mission no one else dared to approve. They wanted to see, to study, to understand. They would be the first to step into human space, and they hoped they would survive. Meanwhile, on the other side of that boundary, humans were aware of alien eyes watching. They had long predicted that one day, someone would approach. The humans did not fear the galaxy. They prepared for it. For centuries, they had built cities that glimmered with energy shields, warships hidden in orbit, and technology that could make even the most advanced alien fleets pause in awe. The lead scout of the alien delegation was Captain Rylan of the Zalari. His ship was sleek, faster than most in the galaxy, equipped with scanners designed to detect life forms and energy patterns far beyond normal reach. His crew was nervous. They had been trained for deep space exploration, but this was different. They were entering a space no one had ever crossed. As the ship drifted past the last known systems of mapped space, silence surrounded them. Stars sparkled faintly in the distance, but the usual patterns of energy, signals, transmissions, and cosmic activity were gone. Rylan adjusted his controls, scanning repeatedly, but nothing appeared. "Captain," said Lyra, his science officer, her voice tight with excitement, "I am detecting a faint energy signature ahead. It is unusual. Nothing like anything in our databases." "Show me," Rylan replied. The screen illuminated with a soft pulse, like a heartbeat in the void. The signal was strong, yet elusive, almost as if it did not want to be found. Rylan frowned. "This is unlike any natural phenomenon," he said quietly. "Prepare the ship for my caution. We do not know what lies ahead." Hours passed. The crew of the alien ship grew tense. Their instruments recorded nothing else. No life, no structures, no radio signals. And yet, that pulse persisted, steady, powerful, and unnerving. Without warning, a shadow moved in space. At first, it seemed like a trick of the sensors, but it grew larger, closer. The aliens watched in disbelief as an enormous vessel slowly decloaked. Its design was unfamiliar, elegant but intimidating. It had smooth, reflective surfaces that seemed to shift light in impossible ways. "By the Council," muttered one of the engineers. "This ship, it is massive, and it's moving toward us." Captain Rylan ordered evasive maneuvers, but the vessel did not attack. Instead, it slowed and hovered, silent as if observing them. Then a calm voice spoke through the translator system. This is human command. You have entered restricted space. Identify yourselves. The aliens froze. The voice was firm but not hostile. It carried authority, calmness, and power all at once. We are explorers of the Galactic Council, Rylan replied, his hands shaking slightly. We come in peace. We mean no harm. The human vessel remained still. You are being watched, the voice said. You may proceed only under observation. Any aggressive action will be met with immediate response. Rylan glanced at his crew. They had heard legends of human weakness, of primitive fleets. Yet here they were, faced with a single vessel that could easily destroy their entire ship. Yet it was patient, restrained, and controlled. Hours passed in tense silence. The human ship communicated with careful precision, asking questions, verifying intentions, and scanning the alien vessel. The aliens realized that their weapons, though advanced, were meaningless against the unseen technology humans possessed. Finally, the human ship moved aside, allowing the alien vessel to pass. But sensors recorded something alarming. Energy, shields, and detection arrays far beyond anything the aliens had imagined. Rylan understood the truth in a sudden, chilling clarity. Human space was not empty. It was a fortress, designed to protect humans while keeping the galaxy at bay. The alien crew whispered among themselves. We thought humans were weak, one said. They are something else entirely. Observe and learn, Rylan instructed. We must report back carefully. We must not underestimate them. As they moved deeper, more vessels appeared, silent, observing, yet never attacking. Humans were everywhere, but invisible, hidden in plain sight. It was a web of power, precision, and control. Every move the aliens made was recorded, analyzed, and anticipated. By the time the delegation reached the first human station, orbiting a blue-green planet rich in resources, the aliens were in awe. The station was enormous, far beyond the scale of any alien city or fleet they had seen. Lights shimmered in patterns that seemed alive, and smaller ships moved like coordinated dancers. One of the younger crew members whispered, "They built all of this alone?" Rylan shook his head. Not alone. Carefully. With purpose. We have underestimated them. That is the truth we must report. As the alien delegation prepared to communicate with human representatives, a sense of both fear and wonder filled their minds. This was the edge of the galaxy, yes, but it was also the edge of understanding. The humans were not weak, they were patient, they were clever, and they were ready for any who dared to cross the map's edge. The first contact had begun, not with a battle, not with violence, but with observation. And already the aliens knew that everything the galaxy thought about humans was wrong. In the silent void of space, the human fleet remained still, watching, waiting, and judging. A single thought seemed to echo in the hearts of the alien delegation. Human space was not just the end of the map, it was the beginning of a new reality. The stars continued to shine, indifferent to all, yet within that light, something new had awakened. Curiosity, fear, and respect for the species that had quietly grown at the edge of the galaxy, ready to surprise everyone who underestimated them. Captain Rylan looked out at the stars, his voice low and steady. This changes everything. The first step into human space had been taken, and the galaxy would never be the same. The alien delegation had barely settled near the massive human station when they realized the full scale of what they had entered. Unlike anything in the galaxy, human space was alive with activity, yet completely controlled. Ships moved silently, docking with precision, while others disappeared into cloaked hangars. Energy shields shimmered faintly, protecting entire cities on the planet below. Captain Rylan and his crew could not hide their awe. Every system on their ship was alive with sensor readings, but none could fully explain the technology surrounding them. A calm voice resonated through the communication channel. "Welcome to human space. You may dock under supervision." Any attempts to bypass our procedures will be considered hostile. Rylan swallowed, his throat dry. Understood, he said, keeping his tone steady. We only seek knowledge and safe passage. As the alien delegation prepared to dock, a human ship detached from the station and moved toward them. It was sleek, larger than any warship the aliens had encountered, and yet it moved without haste, almost like it was assessing them rather than threatening. The ship's surface shimmered with subtle energy fields that distorted light. Sensors tried to analyze it, but the data returned as incomprehensible. Alien engineers exchanged nervous glances. This cannot be fully measured, muttered Lyra, Ryland's science officer. The energy readings are beyond anything we know. Proceed carefully, Ryland ordered. Do not provoke them. The human ship stopped at a safe distance, and a projection appeared on the view screen. It was a human officer wearing a uniform that seemed simple but exuded authority. His eyes were steady, observing, yet not hostile. I am Commander Kale, he said. You have entered restricted space. Without prior clearance, why are you here? Rylan stepped forward, his voice firm but respectful. I am Captain Rylan of the Zalari. We are explorers from the Galactic Council. Our mission is to understand the unknown regions beyond known space. We did not anticipate encountering anything this advanced. Commander Kale's eyes flickered. With interest. You expected nothing. You have traveled to the edge of the galaxy and you assumed there would be nothing. That is a common mistake. The aliens felt a chill. Kyle's tone was calm, but there was a quiet authority that pressed on them. It was not fear, it was control. He was not just a commander, he was someone who could decide the fate of entire fleets with a single choice. Your fleet is impressive, Ryland said, trying to mask his awe, but we do not intend to engage in conflict. We seek understanding, nothing more. Kale nodded slowly. Good. You will not be harmed. But understand this. Human space is not a territory to be tested. It is a safeguard. Your actions are observed. The I-2 alien delegation docked at the station under supervision. Inside, they were greeted by a vast control room, filled with humans and machines operating together in perfect harmony. Screens displayed sectors of the galaxy, star systems, and ships moving in real time. Energy patterns were tracked, potential, threats highlighted, and strategies calculated, all instantly. One of the younger aliens whispered, "They can see everything. They know everything." Not everything, Rylan replied, though his voice was quieter than usual. But enough to make us careful. We are not in control here. As the delegation toured the station, humans demonstrated their technology subtly. They showed energy shields capable of protecting entire cities, warp drives that move ships faster than any alien technology, and automated defense systems that could respond instantly to threats. Yet they avoided showing overwhelming force directly. It was a display of restraint and power, a careful balance designed to impress without provoking panic. In a simulation room, humans arranged holographic ships to demonstrate fleet maneuvers. Thousands of vessels moved like a single organism, dodging imaginary attacks and responding with precise countermeasures. Alien observers were stunned. Their own fleets, though powerful, could not match this level of coordination and speed. How many ships do you have? One of the alien engineers asked, voice trembling. Kyle smiled faintly. Numbers alone do not matter. Efficiency, technology, and strategy are what make a fleet formidable. You have seen a fraction of what human space can muster. The delegation realized that the humans were not only strong, they were disciplined, intelligent, and patient. Unlike other empires that relied on sheer power or fear, humans had built a system that combined every advantage without unnecessary risk. Later, during a private meeting, Kale spoke directly to Rylan. You must understand something, he said. Human space is not hostile by default, but it is prepared. You could leave peacefully and we would not intervene. Or you could provoke us, and the consequences would be immediate. Rylan nodded, understanding fully. We mean no harm. We only wish to learn, but Why? Why hide such power? Kyle looked at him with quiet intensity. The galaxy is ambitious. Many seek dominance. Many underestimate potential threats. Humans survived by being careful, by preparing for everything before it arrived. We do not seek war, but we are ready for it. The alien delegation felt a mix of fear and respect. They had assumed humans were weak, primitive, and vulnerable. Instead, they found intelligence, discipline, and strength beyond imagination. That night, as the delegation rested, Rylan reflected on what they had seen. He wrote a message to the council carefully phrased, "Human space is not empty. It is a fortress. The species within it is far stronger than reported. Caution is necessary. The galaxy has underestimated them at its own risk." Meanwhile, humans continued their observation. From hidden satellites and cloaked vessels, they monitored the aliens' movements. They noted curiosity, fear, and adaptability. Humans did not fear this first delegation. They simply prepared for the next, knowing that one day the galaxy would learn the truth about their strength. The next morning, Kyle invited the delegation to a training field in space. Here, humans would demonstrate capability without using lethal force. Small drones and simulated attacks tested the alien ships. Every time, the humans responded flawlessly, neutralizing threats with minimal risk. It was a careful lesson. Power tempered by intelligence, you see, Kale explained. Strength without control is chaos. Knowledge without wisdom is danger. Humans have survived by balancing both. Rylan watched as a small human fighter intercepted a drone, captured it, and returned it unharmed. The aliens murmured among themselves. "They could destroy us easily," one said, "and yet they choose not to. Why?" Kale's voice came through the comm again. "Because we decide when to act. Not out of fear, not out of anger, but out of necessity. That is how humans endure." By the time the demonstration ended, the aliens had a new understanding. Their perception of humans had changed completely. What they had assumed as weakness was strategy. What they had dismissed as simplicity was intelligence. What they had ignored as ordinary was extraordinary. As the delegation prepared to leave, Rylan addressed Kale. "We will return to the council. We will report accurately. The galaxy must know. Humans are not to be underestimated." Kale nodded. "Report what you must, but remember, knowledge carries responsibility. Many in the galaxy are not ready for this truth. Handle it wisely." The alien delegation left human space, passing the faint pulse that had first caught their sensors. It seemed to follow them, a silent heartbeat at the edge of known space. They felt eyes upon them, watching, recording, and judging every move. Humans were no longer a mystery. They were a force the galaxy could no longer ignore. Rylan looked back at the stars behind them, whispering, "This changes everything. The council will not believe it until they see it. But the truth is undeniable. Humans are ready for whatever comes next." In the calm void, human space remained quiet yet powerful. Cities shimmered on planets below. Ships patrolled hidden sectors, and observers watched the departing aliens. Patience, intelligence, and readiness were the human way. And soon the galaxy would see that the edge of the map was more than a boundary. It was a warning. For the first time in centuries, humans had met aliens openly. They had shown restraint, wisdom, and strength. And the galaxy had already begun to whisper, perhaps it had underestimated humans for too long. The first encounter was over. But the true story of human space and the species within it had only just begun. The alien delegation could hardly believe what they were seeing. After their first encounter, their minds had been racing with questions. Humans were not only strong, they were organized, clever, and patient. But there was more to discover. The true scale of human space had not yet revealed itself. Captain Rylan led his crew through the vast docking corridors of the human station. The architecture was elegant, yet functional. Massive energy conduits pulsed along the walls, carrying power to every system. Holographic displays floated in midair showing star systems, energy flows, and moving fleets. Aliens had never seen anything like this. "This is astonishing," muttered Lyra, her eyes wide. "Every ship, every station, every weapon, it is all connected. They know the galaxy in ways we cannot imagine." Rylan nodded, though his mind was already racing with reports he would have to make to the Council. "Observe everything, record every detail," he said. "This is not just technology, it is strategy, and it is human ingenuity at its best." A human officer approached, offering a small bow of respect. "Welcome," she said. "I am Lieutenant Mara. You may see our systems, but remember, they are advanced for a reason. You must not interfere with operations." The aliens followed Mara through corridors and chambers, arriving at a vast observation deck. From here, entire sectors of human space could be seen. Ships moved in silent, perfect harmony. Drones scanned planets and asteroids. Cloaked vessels appeared and disappeared as if they were part of the shadows themselves. "This is incredible," said one of the Terran scientists. "They have fleets stationed in hidden sectors. We cannot detect all of them even with our best sensors." Mara smiled faintly. "Human space is designed for control and observation. We are not the largest fleet in the galaxy by numbers, but we are the most efficient. We detect threats before they appear, and we respond with precision." The alien delegation grew quiet, taking in every detail. They were beginning to understand why the map stopped at this region. It was not emptiness, it was a fortress, a shield, and a warning all at once. Rylan spoke carefully. "Lieutenant Mara, we assumed humans were weak, isolated, primitive even. But what we see here, it is unlike anything in the galaxy." Mara's eyes narrowed slightly. "We do not advertise our power. The galaxy often underestimates humans. That is to our advantage. We survive by being prepared, patient, and precise. Strength is meaningless without control and wisdom." They continued their tour, moving into a research and development sector. Machines hummed quietly as engineers tested energy shields, propulsion systems, and automated defense protocols. Holograms displayed potential scenarios, fleets responding to invasions, cities protected from bombardments, and entire planets defended against meteor strikes. Lyra's mouth fell open. They are planning for every possible threat, including entire civilizations attacking them. "Exactly," Mara said. "Humans do not fear. We prepare. That is the difference." The aliens were then guided to a strategic operations room. A massive table displayed a holographic star map. Tiny ships moved across sectors, and symbols showed detected energy signatures, potential hazards, and unknown vessels. Humans monitored everything in real time, their calculations precise and constant. "Your technology is astonishing," Rylan admitted. "How did humans achieve this without the galaxy noticing?" Mara looked at him seriously. "Because humans understand patience. We reveal only what we choose to. We hide our capabilities until necessary. The galaxy assumes ignorance because it makes others careless. We survive because others underestimate us." As they spoke, an alarm quietly rang. Mara glanced at her display and gestured toward a sector in deep space. A minor malfunction had occurred on one of the observation drones. Rylan and the delegation watched as humans responded instantly. Cloaked ships moved to the site, repaired the drone, and returned it unharmed. "Notice," Mara said. "We do. Not destroy unnecessarily. Power without purpose is meaningless. Efficiency, precision, and restraint are what matter." The alien crew whispered among themselves. They could have destroyed that drone in an instant, and yet they did not. Their restraint is incredible. Rylan realized that every action humans took was deliberate. Every movement, every technology, every calculation was designed not only to survive, but to maintain balance. This was a species that had grown quietly, unnoticed yet far beyond what the galaxy believed possible. Later, the delegation visited a human planetary system, On the surface, enormous cities gleamed with energy shields and environmental control systems. Transportation networks moved smoothly without congestion. Towers housed advanced laboratories, power plants, and defense systems, all interconnected. Even the natural environment was carefully maintained, showing humans' ability to coexist with their planets while enhancing them. One of the alien observers, a young Terran engineer, asked, "How can a species be so advanced in every area? Technology, strategy, organization, and even environment?" Rylan hesitated. "It is not just technology. It is discipline, creativity, and adaptability. Humans do not rely on brute force. They rely on thinking ahead, learning quickly, and controlling their environment. That is their greatest weapon." The delegation then returned to the station, where Kale awaited. "You have seen a small part of what humans are capable of," he said. "But there is more. Human space is not only protected, it is prepared for anything. We survive not by conquest, but by readiness." Rylan's mind raced. He began to understand why the galaxy never ventured here. It was not fear of humans as weaklings, it was fear of humans as the unknown. Any empire entering human space without caution would face consequences beyond imagination. Mara guided them to a simulation chamber where humans demonstrated fleet operations in action. Hundreds of vessels moved in perfect coordination, intercepting threats, deploying defenses, and executing strategies faster than the aliens could comprehend. Every action was deliberate, precise, and effective. "This is incredible," Rylan whispered. "They could destroy entire fleets before we even realized they were there." Mara nodded. "And yet we choose restraint. Efficiency is useless if it is wasted. Human strength is measured not only by our ability to fight, but by our ability to control when and how to act." The aliens began to realize that the legends of human weakness were deliberate misdirection. Humans had cultivated an image of vulnerability, while quietly building one of the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. Every system, every ship, every city was part of a network designed for survival, observation, and precision. By the end of the tour, the alien delegation was silent. Their previous assumptions had been shattered. The humans they had thought primitive were not only capable, they were masters of preparation, strategy, and restraint. As they prepared to leave, Rylan addressed Kale privately. "We will report this accurately. The Council will not believe it, but we must. Humans are unlike anything else in the galaxy. We have underestimated them for too long." Kale nodded. "Do not underestimate what patience can accomplish. Humans grow quietly, think carefully, and act decisively. Many in the galaxy are not ready for this truth." The alien delegation left human space, passing the faint energy pulse that had first alerted them. It seemed to follow them, quiet and steady, like the heartbeat of the entire system. Rylan looked back at the stars behind them, realizing that the galaxy had been blind. "We assumed emptiness," he whispered. "We assumed weakness, but the truth is far greater than we imagined." The first visit had been enlightening, but it was only the beginning. The aliens now understood that human space was not merely a boundary, it was a fortress, a laboratory, and a warning all at once. Those who underestimated humans would soon learn, and the galaxy would be forced to reconsider everything it knew about power, strategy, and survival. In the calm, quiet vastness of space, humans continued their work. Ships patrolled hidden sectors, cities shimmered with controlled energy, and unseen eyes watched the departing aliens, recording every detail. Patience, intelligence, and preparation were the human way, and soon the galaxy would discover that the edge of the map was not the end. It was the beginning of a new reality. The aliens would return to their home systems, but their minds had changed. They could never report that humans were weak. They could only tell of strength, wisdom, and restraint beyond imagination. The galaxy had reached a new understanding. Human space was a power unlike any other, and its inhabitants were ready for anything that might come. The first encounter had ended, but the true story of human space and its secrets had only begun. The alien delegation had returned from the first tour, their minds still processing the incredible scale and precision of human space. Captain Rylan knew that what they had seen was only a fraction of human capability. He had seen enough to know that the galaxy's assumptions about humans were dangerously wrong. "Captain," Lyra said, her voice quiet, "I do not think we have even begun to understand them. Their fleets, their shields, their coordination. It is overwhelming." Rylan nodded. "Agreed. But we cannot report only what we see. We must understand intent as well. Humans are not just strong, they are strategic, and strategy is only dangerous when misunderstood." A message arrived from Human Command. Commander Kale's voice was calm, precise. "Captain Rylan, your delegation is invited to witness a controlled demonstration. You will see the capabilities of human space, fleets, and how we respond to potential threats. This is not a test of aggression, it is a lesson in preparedness." The delegation exchanged nervous glances. A demonstration of this scale had never been attempted with outsiders. The aliens were unsure whether to feel honored or intimidated. "Prepare the ship," Rylan ordered. "We go to see the full power of human space." The alien vessel followed human escort ships into deep space, beyond the reach of known observation posts. Stars stretched endlessly around them, and quiet vastness seemed to amplify every movement. Then, without warning, the demonstration began. Hundreds of human ships decloaked, moving in perfect formation. Energy fields shimmered faintly as they accelerated, faster than anything the aliens had ever measured. Drones emerged from hidden compartments, scanning the region with speed and precision. Every action seemed deliberate, almost choreographed, yet alive with purpose. Rylan and his crew watched in stunned silence. They could annihilate an entire fleet before it even realized it, muttered one engineer. Kale's voice came through the comm, calm and steady. "This demonstration is not about destruction. It is about efficiency, strategy, and control. Observe carefully. This is how humans survive." The humans simulated attacks from imaginary enemy fleets. Ships moved in precise patterns, dodging attacks, neutralizing threats, and countering with minimal energy usage. Entire sectors were defended in ways the aliens could barely comprehend. It was not just power, it was intelligence applied to every situation. One of the Terran diplomats whispered, "They are not just fighting, they are predicting. Every move, every possibility is anticipated." "Yes," Rylan replied quietly, "and they can act faster than any threat can even present itself. This is not just defense. This is mastery." Kyle continued the demonstration, showing fleet coordination over long distances. Cloaked ships appeared suddenly, intercepting simulated intruders. Energy shields activated to protect entire planets in milliseconds. The aliens realized that human space was not merely a territory. It was a controlled environment designed for survival and observation. Lyra pointed to a section of the holographic map. "Look at the timing. They coordinate thousands of vessels without error. Every calculation is instantaneous. How is this possible?" Rylan shook his head. "Discipline, technology, and strategy. Humans have combined all three perfectly, and yet they remain restrained. They could destroy us with ease, but they choose not to." Kale's voice came again, this time with a hint of explanation. "You must understand something. Power is meaningless without purpose. Humans have survived not by dominating others, but by controlling ourselves and understanding every possible outcome. That is why the galaxy has never seen the full extent of our abilities." The alien delegation realized that the demonstration was more than a show of power. It was a subtle lesson. Humans were teaching restraint, wisdom, and the importance of preparation. The galaxy had long assumed that strength was measured by aggression. Humans had shown that true strength was measured by control. During the demonstration, one young Ivarian scientist observed a human engineer interacting with the fleet's automated systems. "Captain," she said, "their coordination is incredible, but notice that the humans themselves are calm. They do not panic, they do not overreact. Even under pressure, they remain precise. Rylan nodded. That is discipline. That is survival. A species that can combine technology, intelligence, and calm judgment. That is a species to respect. As the demonstration concluded, Kale addressed the delegation. You have seen what humans can do when challenged. But remember, human space is not a battlefield. It is a controlled environment. We do not seek conflict, but we are ready for any eventuality. This demonstration is to show that we are capable of defending ourselves and observing others without unnecessary aggression. The aliens were silent, absorbing the full impact of what they had witnessed. Rylan knew that their perception of humans had changed completely. The species they had assumed to be weak and primitive was far beyond anything they had imagined. Humans were not just capable, they were masters of preparation, strategy, and survival. Later, in a private briefing, Kale spoke directly to Rylan. You must understand that human space is not a trap, nor is it a prison. It is a safeguard. Those who enter must understand that we act with purpose. You have seen restraint, but that is not weakness. It is strength in its most disciplined form. Rylan's mind was racing. We will report accurately, Commander. But this will change how the galaxy views humans. They will no longer be underestimated. Kale's eyes were steady. That is not our concern. The galaxy will learn what it must, when it must. For now, you have seen what is necessary. Remember, preparation is the greatest advantage. Humans survive because we anticipate everything before it arrives. The alien delegation then participated in a controlled exercise. Humans allowed them to simulate minor engagements, observing and guiding their decisions. Every move the aliens made was corrected or improved upon, showing how humans could anticipate outcomes before the aliens themselves understood them. This is educational, whispered one of the Zellari officers. They are teaching without aggression. They are showing us how to think, how to anticipate, and how to act with precision. I have never seen anything like this, Rylan nodded. They are not just demonstrating power, they are demonstrating intelligence applied to every possible scenario. This is what makes them dangerous, in the best sense of the word. By the end of the exercise, the aliens were exhausted but enlightened. They had seen firsthand the true capability of human space. It was not only about technology, fleets, or weapons. It was about control, observation, and preparation. Humans had built a system that could survive anything, anticipate any threat, and respond with unmatched precision. As the delegation prepared to leave, Kyle addressed them one final time. You have seen only a fraction of what human space can do. Remember what you have learned. Humans are not weak. Humans are not reckless. We act with purpose. Those who underestimate us do so at their own risk. Rylan's mind was heavy with realization. We will return to the Council, he said, and we will report the truth. Humans are unlike anything the galaxy has seen. The alien ship departed, moving back toward the mapped regions of the galaxy. Behind them, human space shimmered quietly, vast and controlled. Ships patrolled hidden sectors. Cities gleamed with energy shields. Drones moved silently. And humans continued their work, patient, precise, and ready for whatever the galaxy might throw at them next. Rylan looked back one last time, whispering to his crew, the galaxy has underestimated humans for too long. And now, we have seen why that was a mistake. The first test of the Alliance, if it could even be called that, had ended, but the lesson was clear. Humans were not to be judged by appearances, numbers, or rumors. They were a force built on intelligence, restraint, and preparation, a species ready for anything. In the silence of deep space, human space remained calm yet powerful. The edge of the galactic map was no longer just a boundary. It was a fortress, a warning and a demonstration of what patience, discipline, and strategic thinking could achieve. The alien delegation left human space with a sense of awe and disbelief. Captain Rylan's mind was crowded with thoughts, calculations, and warnings. Everything they had assumed about humans had been shattered. They had entered what they thought was a quiet, empty region at the edge of the galaxy and discovered something far more extraordinary. We underestimated them completely, Rylan said quietly to his officers as they traveled back toward known space. Every calculation, every theory, it was wrong. Humans are not only strong, they are intelligent, patient, and precise. Lyra shook her head. We saw fleets that could destroy entire star systems, yet humans did not attack. They showed restraint. Their strength is not in aggression, it is in control. Rylan nodded. And control is far more dangerous than mere power. Any empire that underestimates them will regret it. Back in their home systems, the alien leaders began to prepare their reports. The Council had long dismissed humanity as an insignificant species. Many had joked about human weakness and naivety. But the delegation now had proof that humans were far beyond what anyone had imagined. The reports would be difficult to convey. The galaxy had expected primitive humans, struggling on a single planet. Instead, the delegation had encountered a species that controlled space, technology, and strategy in ways unmatched anywhere else. Every member of the delegation knew they had a responsibility. The wrong words could lead to disbelief, ridicule, or even panic. Rylan drafted his report carefully. Human space is not empty, he wrote. It is a fortress. Humans are far stronger than any species currently known. Their technology, strategy, and discipline exceed all previous records. They survive through preparation, intelligence, and restraint. Any force that enters without caution will face consequences beyond imagination. He paused and added a final note. The galaxy has underestimated humans for too long. That will change, whether we are ready or not. Meanwhile, across human space, the humans remained calm. Commander Kale observed the departing alien ships through distant sensors. He did not need to worry about aggression. Humans did not act out of fear or anger. They acted with purpose and control. Their presence at the edge of the galaxy was enough to convey strength without unnecessary conflict. In the following weeks, reports began to circulate through the galactic networks. Rumors of human power spread slowly, carefully. Some dismissed the claims as exaggeration. Others were curious but skeptical. Few could believe that a species long thought primitive had grown so quietly, so effectively, and so dangerously. Rylan's report reached the Galactic Council, and it caused immediate disruption. Meetings were called, debates erupted, and envoys argued over what to do next. Many council members were angry that humans had been underestimated for so long. Others were fearful of what this meant for their own civilizations. One counselor, a veteran of galactic diplomacy, spoke with concern. If what Captain Rylan reports is true, we have been blind. Humans have not merely survived, they have perfected strategy, control, and technology beyond our knowledge. We must reconsider all our assumptions. Another counselor argued, we cannot believe this. Humans are just one species among many. How could they surpass us in every measure? Rylan, present via secure communication, answered firmly. I have witnessed it. Humans control space, technology, and strategy in ways no other species can. They are not to be underestimated. This is not fear. It is fact. The Council struggled with the truth. The galaxy had long judged humans by appearances. Their fleets had seemed small, their planets isolated. Legends of weakness had been repeated across generations. Now, those legends were shattered. Humans were no longer a species to ignore. They were a power that demanded respect. Meanwhile, within human space, fleets patrolled silently. Cloaked ships observed the edge of known space, watching for any signs of curiosity, aggression, or recklessness. The humans did not seek conflict, but they were ready for it. Their cities and stations continued to grow, and research continued. In every sector, every new development was tested, refined, and integrated into the network. One young human officer asked Kale, "Commander, do you think the galaxy will ever understand us?" Kale smiled faintly. Some will. Others will never be ready. That is not our concern. We prepare for every possibility, but we act only when necessary. Humans endure because we anticipate, not because we dominate. Back on alien worlds, Ryland's delegation became both celebrated and feared. Some leaders saw opportunity, a chance to ally with humans to learn from them. Others saw danger, the rise of a species far more capable than any council member had anticipated. The truth was undeniable. The galaxy had changed. Human space was no longer just a mysterious edge on the map. It was a fortress, a test, and a warning. Those who had assumed humans were weak now faced a reality they could not ignore. Ryland reflected on the first encounter, the tours, and the demonstration. "We were witnesses," he said. "We have seen the power humans can wield, and the wisdom they exercise. The galaxy has underestimated them for centuries. That ends now." Meanwhile, humans continued their quiet work. Ships patrolled hidden sectors. Cities gleamed with protective shields, and sensors monitored the boundaries of known space. They did not act out of fear, nor did they boast. They simply prepared, ensuring that any who approached would understand the consequences of underestimation. A human scientist observing a distant fleet whispered to a colleague, "They will learn in time. But humans will not strike unless necessary. Patience is our greatest weapon." Kyle nodded. "Exactly. Humans endure because we anticipate. Humans survive because we control. The galaxy will see the truth soon enough." As the alien delegation returned to their systems, whispers began to spread. Stories of a species at the edge of the galaxy, stronger and wiser than anyone had imagined, circulated among explorers and traders. Some dismissed them as exaggeration. Others quietly recalculated their strategies. Ryland knew the reality. Humans were no longer a species to judge by appearances. They were prepared, intelligent, and disciplined beyond measure. Any who ignored that truth would face consequences, even if they did not realize it yet. Months later, the council held another meeting. The news of human space had reached all corners of the galaxy. The delegates debated fiercely, trying to understand what had changed. Every empire, every faction, every strategist had to reconsider their calculations. Humans were no longer a distant, insignificant species. They were a power that demanded attention and respect. Ryland concluded his address to the council. "You cannot ignore what we have seen. Humans are capable of controlling space, technology, and strategy in ways beyond imagination. They endure because they prepare, not because they dominate. Underestimating them is dangerous. Respect, caution, and observation are necessary. The galaxy must accept this reality." Silence followed. It was clear that a new era had begun. The edge of the map was no longer empty. It was a symbol of human capability, patience, and control. The galaxy had learned, or would soon learn, that humans were not a species to be underestimated. In human space, life continued quietly but purposefully. Ships patrolled unseen sectors. Cities hummed with controlled energy. Scientists developed new technologies. Engineers refined fleets, and commanders planned for contingencies the galaxy could not yet imagine. Humans remained calm, precise, and ready. And at the edge of known space, the pulse of energy that had first alerted the alien delegation continued its steady rhythm, like the heartbeat of a species prepared for anything. The galaxy had seen only a glimpse of human space. It was enough to change everything. Ryland and his crew returned to their home worlds, forever changed. They had seen restraint, intelligence, and preparation applied to every aspect of survival. The council could debate, the empires could argue, but the truth was undeniable. Humans were a force the galaxy could not ignore. As the stars stretched endlessly around them, Ryland whispered quietly, "We have witnessed the beginning of a new reality. Humans are not to be underestimated, and the galaxy will never be the same." At the edge of the galactic map, human space remained calm yet formidable. The species within it had grown quietly, observed patiently, and prepared endlessly. Now the galaxy knew. Humanity was ready for anything that might come, and no one would ever take them lightly again. The edge of the map was no longer the end. It was the start of a new chapter for the galaxy, one defined not by assumptions or appearances, but by intelligence, discipline, and the hidden power of humans.